What is up, woke family? It's your boy Wokey Buggles, and I'm back again with another live stream. Very lit live stream tonight. We're going to be watching a lot of videos. We're going to be up for a while, guys. We got to bring it back. We got to bring back masculinity. It's a fight, spiritual warfare. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch the video right now in regards to the FTX scandal with, Sam Bankman-Fried. I'll give you my thoughts and my opinions. We're going to move on from video to video. Y'all give me your thoughts, opinions, and questions down in the comments, and we're going to get into this, guys. So let's get into this first video.
The entire crypto world seems to be falling apart right now. On November 7th, Sam Bankman-Fried said his crypto exchange FTX, one of the largest exchanges in the world, was, quote, fine. The very next day, the entire exchange imploded. People were trying to withdraw their money from FTX, but FTX didn't have enough money to go around. It was a classic bank run. And if FTX didn't somehow get their hands on some emergency cash to give back to customers, it would collapse. So Sam had no choice but to come crawling to his arch nemesis, a guy named CZ behind the exchange Binance, for a bailout. For a minute, it looked like Binance was gonna save the day. But right before the clock struck midnight, Binance backed out, hinting that FTX had mishandled customers' money. And just like that, FTX was screwed. With no bailout and no way for customers to withdraw their money, Sam Bankman-Fried's net worth dropped from a staggering $15 billion down 94% to just shy of $1 billion in a single day. It was the biggest free fall in billionaire history.
I'm going to say what I think it is from the go off of my spiritual intuition. I think Sam Bankman-Fried knew that the money was being mishandled, but he didn't want to tell the people that were a part of his company, like the executives and stuff. But let's continue.
Just 3 days later, FTX filed for bankruptcy. It was the most catastrophic collapse in the history of crypto. And just like how Lehman Brothers collapse sparked the 2008 financial crisis, FTX might just take the entire crypto world down with it. This is a story of money, power, and cutthroat, ruthless financial warfare. And it's all centered around a rivalry between two of the world's biggest crypto billionaires, Sam Bankman-Fried of FTX and Changpeng Zhao, or CZ of Binance. Binance is the behemoth in the crypto world. In 2021, it recorded more than $7 trillion in trading volume. That's more than half of all crypto traded that year, making CZ the most powerful and influential man in all of crypto. FTX, on the other hand, was one of the fastest growing crypto exchanges in the world. Between 2020 and 2021, FTX's revenue increased by more than 1,000%. But in CZ's eyes, Sam Bankman-Fried was not just a competitor, but a threat to the entire world of crypto. So as soon as CZ saw the opportunity to pounce, he showed Sam no mercy. After CZ was done with them, Sam Bankman-Fried went from a godlike figure in the crypto world to a vilified villain literally overnight. Stay dangerous and let's get into it.
My other thing is that what did he gain off of using other people's money or gambling other people's money and not telling them, bro? Like, you just wanted to take over the world and thought that one day your time wasn't going to come, where it was all going to come to crash. That $15 billion that he had in net worth literally jumped from $15 billion to less than $1 billion a day, $991 million. But that's not even really his money. If anything, he's in a loss, and he's been in a loss since he's taken the people's money and he didn't repay them. That's kind of messed up. But I understand. I mean, it makes sense when you look like what's this dude's name? Ethan Klein. I think people that look like themselves low key are not meant to be trusted, bro. But who knows? Let's continue.
FTX is done. But even prior to this historic crash, crypto was having a brutal year, losing around 2/3 of its peak value. And it's not just crypto either. It's brought even the classic 60-40 portfolio of stocks and bonds to its knees. This go-to strategy for decades has lost 34%, its worst performance in 100 years. As a result, institutions like Goldman Sachs say portfolios need to be rebalanced to avoid further losses. They highlight real assets, because real assets have outperformed in volatile conditions like these in the past. Like fine art, for example, which Goldman specifically says can protect your purchasing power in these conditions. In fact, the Paul Allen auction just broke records, fetching over $1.6 billion, with 65% of paintings selling over their highest estimate, which is no wonder.
Wait, so are those NFTs?
Why Masterworks is seeing increased demand. That's because Masterworks lets you invest in multi-million-dollar paintings from legends like Picasso. And these are not NFTs, by the way. There's an offering circulars with the SEC for each offering. And you know what? During the time it took me to edit this video, Masterworks sold a painting for an insane 17.8% net return.
That's crazy.
That brings their last 3 sales to 17, 21, and 33% net returns, and 5
good.
exits in 2022 alone. As a result of their performance, Masterworks actually has a waitlist right now. But you can click the link below for priority access to their newest offerings. So pause the video and click the link below now.
I'm all good. How much are they paying you to be able to promote it, Jake? Shout out to Jake Tran, person who created this video.
So you're Sam Bankman-Fried, and you're no dum-dum. You created the fastest growing crypto exchange in the world, making you a $10 billion fortune in just 3 years in crypto. But you know trouble is on the horizon. Being a billionaire puts a target on your back, and you know that the American government hates crypto and what it represents. So it's only a matter of time before they start slapping on regulations, taxes, and oversight onto the crypto industry.
You guys know why the American government hates crypto? It hates crypto because it's decentralized, which means that it has no business with the government, and that you can literally trade cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin on that exchange, and the U.S. government will have no awareness as to where it is because it's happening through the wallet, like your Bitcoin wallet, your Ethereum wallet, whatever, you know. So the United States is trying to, within a couple of years, move over to a centralized digital currency, like what they're going to probably end up calling the Fed coin. You know, I talked about this a lot last year, and I was just basically saying that very, very soon the dollar will be extinct. Nobody will be using any more dollars. So you're better off investing in assets that are going to last you a long time. Like, for example, silver, gold, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum, real estate, right? Bonds, stocks, ETFs.
It's inevitable. So you have 2 options. One, you could get all angry and shake your fist in the air, screaming about how the government can't just regulate crypto, and then inevitably end up taking it up your butt once the government does force their way in.
Hey, yo.
Or you could accept the reality of the situation, accept that regulators are coming no matter if you like it or not, and get ahead of the curve. So you step into the spotlight and say that yes, crypto does need more regulation. We do need the government to step in and protect investors. That crypto is far too powerful, too important to not regulate it. And that conveniently, I am here as your humble servant to answer any questions regulators or Congress members may have about how to regulate crypto. While little does everyone know that you're the greedy business you're saying to protect the public from. That while you're advising regulators on how to corral in the industry, you suddenly sneak in regulations that favor
It's called gold versus shiny objects. The shiny objects that he's shining in front of their eyes is literally them investing their money into the crypto scam that he's doing, the pump and dump scam, you know? And then the gold is the actual value that you're getting from actually investing in cryptocurrency, like if you invest in Bitcoin or invest in Ethereum. If you make a lot of money, you can cash out, also known as capital gains. You will have to pay taxes on that later on, though, unless you do a 1031 exchange, right? Which basically means you move that capital, or let's just say, for example, it's in real estate, the house that you buy, into a lower value house or a property, so it can roll over your taxes for a couple of years. But that doesn't mean that you won't eventually end up paying the tax. So there's so many different ways in which you can do it. Business is very, very good, like when it comes to figuring out different ways in which you can be able to handle your taxes and stuff. But these are the options generally, you feel me? Well, family, but let's continue though.
for you while crushing your competitors. That even though you can afford all the lawyers and fees that these regulations require to navigate, newcomers looking to get in on the industry can't. In other words, instead of fighting against regulations, instead of fighting competitors, why not create the regulations in your favor and let the government crush your competitors for you? That's exactly what Jeff Bezos of Amazon was doing back in 2018. Back then, Amazon was getting a lot of bad press over their work conditions. So Bezos announced Amazon would be raising its minimum wage to at least $15 an hour. How noble! He supports the working man. But immediately after that, Amazon also announced it would officially start lobbying Congress to increase the federal minimum wage as well, for workers' rights, of course. On the outside, it looks self-sacrificing. Bezos is putting his own money on the line to get workers paid more. But if you read between the lines, you'll realize that by doing so, all of his competitors are forced to feel the brunt of his minimum wage increase as well, not just him. And that's exactly what Sam Bankman-Fried was going for. He became a political mega donor, pumping more than $50 million a year into American politicians and campaigns.
So he was basically like acting like as if he was a lobbyist. But where was that $50 million coming from? Was that coming from his own pockets or from other people's pockets? 'Cause if it was coming from other people's pockets, I'm not gonna lie, that's crazy. You feel me? That's crazy.
To push for more regulations. The kind of regulations that would make it nearly impossible for competitors like Binance to operate in America. At one point, Sam said he planned on spending up to $1 billion on politics in 2024. Also, he could influence the government to implement some of his ideas for policing the crypto industry, and not their own. In other words, he was planning on legally bribing American politicians $1 billion to indirectly hand him a complete monopoly over the country's crypto industry. Again, a very clever yet logical move when you're a man in his position. As you can imagine, Sam's big plans for regulating crypto quickly turned him and FTX into public enemy number one in the crypto world. After all, crypto came about out of the desire to be free from the greedy hands of governments. And no one hated Sam Bankman-Fried's scheming more than CZ of Binance. Like most rivals, CZ and Sam started out as friends. Just 6 months after Sam launched FTX, CZ bought a 20% stake in the exchange. Their partnership was supposed to turn them into the crypto exchange dream team. But then in 2021, things quickly went south. Sam suddenly announced he had bought back all of CZ and Binance's shares in FTX due to, quote, differences between how we run our businesses, end quote. That's because CZ is the exact opposite of Sam. He believes in keeping crypto free from censorship, free from the hands of governments. He is the ultimate crypto maximalist. In his own words, quote, I am a maximalist of freedom. And he saw right through Sam's intentions of getting in bed with the US government. CZ would later call out Sam in a tweet saying, quote, we won't support people who lobby against other industry players behind their backs, end quote. So when crypto experienced
He just posted this like a couple of weeks ago. That's crazy.
the massive $2 trillion crash in May of 2022, CZ saw his opportunity to take out his nemesis for good. When crypto crashed in May 2022, FTX was in a pretty good position. It was growing faster than any other exchange out there, and it was valued at over $32 billion. Sam Bankman-Fried even bailed out other crypto companies that were going under, like BlockFi and Voyager, in order to stop the collapse from spreading like a virus. Very similar to what JP Morgan did when he bailed out other banks in the Great Financial Crash of 1907. So how did FTX go from bailing out other crypto exchanges in May to needing a bailout itself in November? Here's what most people assume happened. This is all a theory, by the way. We don't know what actually happened yet. The first thing to understand is there are 3 main characters in this story: Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX, and his trading firm called Alameda Research. Sam is the CEO of FTX and used to be in charge of Alameda Research as well. But even after Sam left, FTX and Alameda Research have stayed very close and connected. So close that Sam and Alameda's CEO, Caroline Ellison, actually dated and lived with Sam in a luxury penthouse in the Bahamas,
I'm not even gonna say anything.
along with 8 other FTX and Alameda execs.
They lived in the same house with 8 other people. What the heck were they doing in that house together? Pause. That's kind of weird, I'm not gonna lie.
So for all intents and purposes, Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX, and Alameda Research are one and the same. And right up to November 1st, things were going pretty well for Alameda and FTX. And then the leak happened. On November 2nd, 2022, CoinDesk leaked information showing that a huge chunk of the $14.6 billion Alameda Research had on hand was actually made up of a crypto token created by FTX called FTT. FTT is FTX's own token that gives its holders perks, like discounted trading fees on the FTX exchange. Out of that $14.6 billion, around $8 billion of that was in FTT tokens. That was a big problem, because the market cap of FTT at that time was nowhere near that, at around $3 billion. That meant that Alameda Research was allegedly pretending that they had $8 billion in FTT tokens, when the entire value of every FTT token in existence was around just $3 billion. This was
So where did the extra 5 billion that they were playing from come from? Just like their imagination, or they were faking it? That's crazy.
scary. Again, you gotta remember that Alameda Research and FTX are both practically controlled by Sam. Alameda Research's money is practically FTX's money.
Facts.
So if Alameda Research was allegedly lying that much about how much money they did have, how much was FTX lying about? If users on FTX wanted to, let's say, withdraw all their money from FTX at the same time, even if FTX sold all their FTT tokens to pay back users, there might not be enough money to go around.
Facts.
So people who had money in FTX started freaking out. Luckily, our guy CZ of Binance had the perfect ace up his sleeve to take advantage of this crisis. See, when CZ and Sam parted ways, part of the $2 billion Sam gave CZ for his shares in FTX was paid in FTT tokens, and CZ would use those FTT tokens for the kill shot. On November 6th, CZ announced that Binance would be liquidating all its FTT tokens, quote, due to recent revelations that have come to light, end quote. Basically, the biggest crypto exchange in the world said, we don't trust FTX, and we are gonna single-handedly crash the price of FTT tokens. And that's when complete chaos and panic set in. People started freaking out and demanding an explanation. So Alameda Research and FTX came out to assure everyone they were fine and could buy up all the FTT tokens Binance was selling. But no one believed them. Not with the May crypto crash so fresh in everyone's memories. Suddenly, everyone was scrambling to get their money out of FTX. They withdrew around $6 billion from FTX in just 3 days. It was a
6 billion is crazy, bro.
21st century bank run. And within those same 3 days, the value of FTT fell from $22 to less than $3 a token. And that's when FTX ran out of money to pay their customers back. See, the company may have looked like it had a whole lot of assets that could be liquidated to pay for withdrawals, but when a big part of your assets are actually just your own tokens that just crashed in price, you are screwed. The SEC launches a probe to investigate whether Sam violated securities rules, making Sam's clever plan to lobby for more regulations really come full circle. CZ had Sam right where he wanted him. Just days after CZ's announcement that Binance was getting rid of its FTT tokens, Sam Bankman-Fried was facing the possibility of 94% of his entire estimated $15 billion net worth being wiped out. The only way Sam could even hope to come out of the disaster in one piece would be to find emergency funds so he can give his customers their money back. They needed a bailout. If he didn't, FTX was gonna collapse entirely. But who would have billions of dollars on hand to give to a failing crypto exchange? With no other options and no way out, Sam had no choice. He would have to come crawling back to none other than CZ.
That's crazy. This is why you don't pretend to make it seem like you have what you don't have. Because when you do, people are going to invest in it, and then they're going to want their money back. And if you can't give them the money, you're going to jail.
On November 8th, CZ tweeted that FTX asked for Binance's help funding all their customers' withdrawals. In response, Binance agreed to sign a non-binding letter of intent to buy FTX and bail them out. Basically, Binance was saying if everything on FTX's side checked out, they would probably buy the entire exchange and save it from destruction. Now Sam Bankman-Fried's fate laid in the hands of the one guy that started it all. Oh, how the tables had turned. For a split second, it looked like Binance and CZ were really gonna follow through and save FTX from impending doom. But then again, why would they? Binance was already the biggest crypto exchange on the block. FTX, its main competitor, was busy sinking. And now here was his greatest rival on his knees, weak and begging for mercy. So what did CZ do? He took the kill shot. Just one day after announcing that they might buy FTX, CZ backed out. As a result of corporate due diligence, Binance would no longer be moving forward with the deal. Sam's fate was sealed. In the end, all Sam could really say about what happened was, "I'm sorry," and "I fucked up," along with a cryptic message, quote, "Well played, you won," end quote, referring to a, quote, "particular sparring partner," end quote. On November 11th, just 4 days after telling everyone FTX was fine, the exchange filed for bankruptcy, and Sam Bankman-Fried announced he would be stepping down as CEO. And the man that took over the position as CEO is a man named John J. Ray III. John J. Ray III happens to be the man that oversaw the liquidation of Enron after they collapsed. And as we were editing this video, it came out that FTX had been hacked, and that Sam Bankman-Fried built a backdoor in his company's accounting software to move billions of customers' dollars without raising suspicion. And now, almost $2 billion of customers' money is now missing. Rumors started flying around that Sam had taken
He's probably gonna go to jail for that.
the money, boarded a private jet, and escaped to Argentina. But Sam denied those rumors, telling Reuters that he is still in the Bahamas. FTX says they're now working with law enforcement and that they're shutting down trading and withdrawals. This story just keeps getting juicier, so make sure you subscribe to find out what happens next.
$2 billion of people's money is actually crazy.
There is blood in the streets for the crypto world right now. But even though cryptocurrencies are experiencing all this chaos right now, the underlying blockchain technology is still very real. It's very valuable. It's already changing the way many industries operate, and it's definitely here to stay. As the former CEO of IBM, Ginni Rometty, said, quote, "Blockchain will do for trusted transactions what the internet did for information," end
Facts.
quote. What happened to FTX was one of the risks China cited when it banned cryptocurrency trading way back in 2021. Apparently, the financial crime and economic instability it could cause was just too dangerous and potentially harmful to Chinese citizens. Which sounds a little
I think the US is gonna do the exact same thing in a couple of years. Once the US launches the Fed coin, they're probably gonna ban crypto. And if anything, you're gonna have to be doing it illegally if you're gonna do it. It's kind of sad, but it is what it is.
rich coming from a country that forcibly harvests its own citizens' organs for money. Yes, you heard that right. Forced organ harvesting, where the Chinese military and hospitals pretty much kill and harvest the organs of political prisoners at will. Why? Money, obviously. We're talking $62,000 for a kidney, $30,000 for an eye, $120,000 for a liver, $300,000 for a pair of lungs.
That's sickening.
The organ harvesting business in China has turned into a multi-billion-dollar industry that traces its roots back all the way to the 1970s. But obviously, diving into the gory details of how China's little side business got started would be way too graphic for a public video. So instead, we've released it as a private documentary only available to members of this channel.
All right, guys, we're gonna move on to the next video. It's gonna be the Candace Owens one with MK Ultra. Yeah, the crypto thing is actually kind of crazy. I can't even cap to you guys, man. Actually, kind of crazy.
Double question of the day. First question is, does the CIA want to control your mind? I'll give you the answer to that. Of course, it's yes, if you're looking at the history of the CIA, which brings me to my second question. Have you heard of the CIA Operation MK Ultra? Let's talk about that.
No.
Plus, Pete Davidson is back, and he's apparently dating Emily Ratajkowski, and it's getting weird, people. All that and more today on
No one cares about that, Candace, bro. The CIA stuff that you're talking about, that's actual information. Like, whatever he's doing in his life, that's his business, you know?
Candace Owens. Okay, so there's a lot on my mind today, so I'm just going to splatter at you. I'm just going to talk at you. And it sort of begins with the CIA program MK Ultra, which, like all very bad CIA programs, they tell us that it's been discontinued and we get no more information about it, and we're supposed to believe that it magically went away. So let's talk about MK Ultra. MK Ultra was a top secret CIA project in which the agency conducted hundreds of experiments, sometimes on unwitting U.S. citizens, to assess the potential use of LSD and other drugs for mind control, okay? So this is about mind control. And why was the CIA interested in controlling the minds of masses? Well, I guess the first...
They want you to be weak. They don't want you to be able to think with your brain. They don't want you to be able to have a free mind so you can be able to conquer all the demonic forces of this world. That's why they try to control you. They think you're stupid. They think you're dumb. They think you're a bot. You got to prove them otherwise, woke family.
First answer is because they're the CIA. The second answer is because in the 1950s and the 1960s, at the height of the Cold War, the United States government were fearful that the Soviets and the Chinese people were using mind control to brainwash U.S. prisoners of war in Korea. They were so fearful of this that they said, well, we then should be controlling the minds of people. That's what they started to do. They started a program which involved more than 150 human experiments with psychedelic drugs, paralytics, and electric.
They drugged people. The CIA drugged people with LSD. They're done, bro. If there's actual evidence that comes out, I think the CIA might get closed down, bro. Like, that's actually sick.
Electroshock therapy. Now, sometimes...
I understand testing mice, but human beings is crazy. I can't even cap.
Subjects knew that they were being experimented on. Other times, they completely didn't. Kind of notoriously, you guys might be familiar with Whitey Bulger. He talked about how when he was in prison, they were doing these experiments on the inmates and all of the crazy things that they would see as they were being dosed with LSD. They began experimenting with LSD under the direction of a chemist and a poison expert named Sidney Gottlieb. And he believed that the agency could harness the drug's mind-altering properties for brainwashing or psychological torture. Think about this. This is really crazy. There was an operation, a project under MK Ultra that was called Operation Midnight Climax. And what did they do? Well, the CIA paid prostitutes to drug unsuspecting men. And they thought that this was a perfect audience to do this to because the men would be so ashamed that they were with a prostitute that they wouldn't then say something terrible happened to me or report it to...
That's sickening. That's sickening. If the CIA actually did this, this is super sickening, bro.
Police officers. And they didn't just observe this by talking to the prostitute after she had drugged them and say, hey, what happened? They actually created a room. The CIA put together a room in one of their notorious safe houses, and they actually had the experiments take place behind a two-way mirror. So they were watching it live. Imagine you're a CIA agent, and you're paying a prostitute, and this person, this unsuspecting man, thinks he's going to sleep with a prostitute, but in reality, he has stepped into a CIA safe house, and there are some agents behind the wall that are watching him and seeing how he reacts to being drugged with LSD. That actually took place. Your government did this, and you should know that.
Like, if this is true and those things actually happen, those people should go to jail. That's disgusting. I'm not even gonna lie. That's really disgusting that you think it's okay to drug people for your own testing. People are not mice. Now, if they want to test themselves, or if they want to be tested based off of you seeking permission, it's one thing. But for you to just test them unknowingly, that's demonic. Now, granted, yes, we do live in a demonic world, but this is very sickening and demonic. Demonic.
You should know that because it got worse than that. They were also drugging people that were in hospitals unsuspectingly, and probably most notoriously, they were drugging one another. The CIA, just at the day at the office, typical day at the office, would slip LSD into one of their agents' coffees to see how he would react to it. I say that part was rather notorious because that actually led to the death of one individual. His name was Frank Olson. Frank Olson was a scientist who worked for the CIA, and at a 1953 CIA retreat, he drank a cocktail that had been secretly spiked with LSD. What happened? Well, just a few short days later, he tumbled to his death from the window of a New York City hotel room in an alleged suicide. That seems a little bizarre, but don't think too much of it. That would make you a conspiracy theorist. It's totally normal that they were unwittingly drugging people with LSD all of the time. Now, why am I bringing this up to you today? Why is this on my mind today? Well, if you want to know how that concludes, there was congressional hearings. Don't you guys love congressional hearings? It's like the government wants you to think that they're doing something to change things. Like, we're going to have a congressional hearing to show what this is unacceptable. Hillary Clinton, what happened with these emails? No comment, no comment. Nothing happens ever. Well, same idea when the CIA gets caught doing stuff. They had congressional hearings. They declined to answer a lot of questions, said that they didn't remember anything, and that was it. We're supposed to believe.
Yeah, they're gonna lie. They're gonna cap because the thing is that they don't want to expose their true nature so people can see it for the way it is. You understand? And it's disgusting. Don't get it twisted. It's very disgusting.
The program magically ended. Well, of course, the government's interest in controlling the minds of the masses did not end there. We know there were other programs like Operation Mockingbird in which CIA agents were littered throughout the mainstream media. So knowing that they're interested in influencing your ideas, it is, of course, a natural conclusion that they are interested in controlling Hollywood, right? Do you really think it's a coincidence that everybody that's in Hollywood that has a platform is in lockstep in all of their opinions? If there's no variation in opinions, you know what they think because they have a platform, right? They are my body, my choice, and they supported Hillary Clinton throughout the election, and every time they're angry about anything, they're all posting black squares. Everything just feels like somebody's just calling them up and saying, do this, right? Now, I was thinking about this today because I watched an old clip of Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle, I'm not talking about his recent Saturday Night Live performance, but I'm talking about Dave Chappelle. If you don't recall this, I'm going to remind you of back when we were told, the public was told that Dave Chappelle was crazy, that he had a mental break. You remember these articles that started to appear. You may be kind of foggy here and go.
They're going to always try to tell you that somebody is crazy when that person is actually doing the work of God. Because you have to understand, we live in a demonic world. The further the world separates itself from the truth, when you have somebody speaking the truth, they're going to try to that person. They're going to try to cancel that person. But you have to understand that being canceled is not a reality. If you're a believer in God, if you trust in God, if you're one of his soldiers, you can't be canceled unless they, and even if all they've done is do that to you physically. They haven't killed your soul. They haven't killed your spirit. You know?
Going, yeah, I do kind of remember that Dave Chappelle disappeared for a while. And it turned out that he went to Africa. He just up and went to Africa and walked away from a $50 million contract. And so I was reminding myself of this and going, when did he sort of arrive back? Like, why did now suddenly he's hosting SNL again? He's being accepted back into the good graces of Hollywood. He's got Netflix deals. Not a typical arc for somebody who's just, we've been told, is mentally crazy. So what happened? What changed? And I found this old interview between him and Oprah. It took place in 2006 after he left. And he is talking about why he left, right? In this interview, he's talking about how there were all of these weird pressures where suddenly there were individuals that were trying to encourage him as a black man to wear a dress. Like there was this, he thought it was a bit weird.
That's sickening.
And he thought there was some sort of a conspiracy because he was like, no, I don't want to wear this dress. But they kept wanting him to put on a dress, and he thought that was weird. And he was under a lot of pressure, and he was arguing with executives, not just about the dress, but about the content that he was producing. He was in the spotlight. And then something even more bizarre happens, right? They essentially start leaking stories about him in the press that aren't true. So at first they start saying that he has pneumonia, and then they start saying that he has writer's block. But don't let me tell you,
it's a way to try to silence him. They don't want him to be able to speak the truth because they feel threatened by him.
I want you to actually listen to Dave Chappelle in his own words, speaking to Oprah in 2006. Take a listen.
I still haven't gotten to why you just disappeared. So you had that moment, the guys are laughing too much. Was that the tipping point for you? Was that the straw?
That was the first tipping point.
Okay.
And then they put in the paper that I had pneumonia, God knows what. Mm-hmm. It was walking pneumonia because I was walking all over the place. I was relaxing. And then after that, I was coming back to the show, and then they were like, "Well, Dave, you should just back up the pneumonia story." And I was like, that was your thing. I'm not backing up a pneumonia story."
So pause there. So that's interesting immediately, because what he's saying is that they just inserted a story about him that wasn't true, right? They're just told him, hey, just say you have pneumonia. Just back up this claim. Let's continue and hear what else he says.
And then the next day it was in the paper that I had writer's block. Then I knew something was getting ready to get stressful because I hadn't even started writing. I was on the schedule to write. So I was like, what's going on? Are they going to...
So these are your people trying to
manipulate me. Sounds like somebody's trying to put young Dave in a compromising position.
Okay, so that's interesting. He's speaking about handlers. This idea of Hollywood handlers that are trying to manipulate the narrative, trying to control some sort of a narrative. And he's wise to it. He's realizing, wait a second, something's going on here. Let's keep going.
Oprah. But, okay, so then I got worse. So when I said I'm not going to do it, then all of a sudden it was like, well, now he has walking pneumonia. And then I knew long before I walked, I had considered walking.
You had considered
I
it?
had considered walking because I went back to work and the vitamin love was gone because it was a real ugly negotiation. It's a situation where now everybody's taking credit for this and that and the other. It was getting ridiculous. And I knew I was going to leave, so I got ahead of schedule and I bounced. And I didn't tell anybody where I was going. The whole time, they're trying to convince me I'm insane.
Stop right.
You see? They're going to try to convince you that you're insane because you're speaking the truth. Or because you don't want to go along with their agenda. That's disgusting. That's actually disgusting. Actually disgusting.
There. He's essentially telling us that he escaped. He just got up and he left because he realized that this was a toxic situation and they were trying to convince him that he was insane. Let's keep going.
They were trying to get me to take psychotic medication. Yeah. Like I'm sitting around, I was stressed out, but the people that were telling me I was insane, I believe that they knew what was going on. So this was troublesome.
Yeah.
I said, I'm not taking this medicine, man, because I know these people be trying to control you or maybe discredit you. I was afraid,
But you were stressed out. That's why.
There's no question. But it's very stressful for someone to constantly walk behind you and say, you're insane.
Wow. Just to recap there, okay? He's not able to be controlled and he's pushing back against executives. And then all of a sudden he starts.
That's the problem. He pushes back against executives. And I'm not saying that it's a problem for us. We on this side understand that what he's doing is the right thing. But for them, it's a problem. They're going to try to shame you. They're going to call you a neo-Nazi, a racist, or whatever. They're going to try to tell you to go on medication. They're going to try to call you insane. They're doing the same thing with Ye. They're doing the same exact thing with Ye. And they've been doing it ever since 2015, since he started supporting Trump. It really just goes to show you how people think.
To realize that there are stories being leaked about him in the press. First, suggesting that he has pneumonia. It's not true. Then suggesting that he has writer's block. Then he starts having a bunch of people around him telling him that he's crazy, trying to convince him that he's crazy and trying to get him to take psychotic medications. Why would they do that? And what Dave Chappelle is being really clear here about is that he felt that they were involved in this narrative. The people around him were colluding, essentially, to present this narrative that he was crazy and to try to get him to take the medicine. And he's very clear that when a bunch of people keep telling you that you're crazy, you'll start to question your own sanity. You'll start to wonder, hey, what is going on here?
It's a very similar situation to Ye, right? It's a very similar situation to Ye and what he's going through. I'm telling you, they're going to try to suppress you when they see that you have a lot of energy and you have a lot of passion towards what you love to do. And they'll try to call you insane. They'll try to call you crazy, but you got to fight all those things. You got to fight it.
Am I crazy? I think it's very telling, and the reason why it sent a chill down my spine is because I had heard this version of events very recently. I have not been shy about the fact that I am friends with Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, and he shared a very similar experience with me before this entire fallout took place. interesting fact about Kanye is that he's been in the public sphere since 1996. But Kanye West was never called crazy, despite being in the public from 1996 all the way through to 2015. He was never called crazy ever by the media until he did what? He put on the MAGA hat. He put on a red hat and said that he wanted to support Donald Trump for president. He liked Donald Trump for president. And then what happened? Well, he was told by a person that was very close to him that in order to get his life back, right, he needed to just say that he was crazy. So a close friend of his, that close friend is Harley Pasternak. Harley Pasternak
Close friend.
is a trainer to the stars, right? He trains all of the stars, all of the celebrities. He trained Brittany Murphy. Remember her? We were told she was crazy, and then she wound up dead, and he was involved in her documentary. Well, he trained Kanye West. He was a friend of his, and he said, Kanye, you're not a conservative. You don't support the MAGA movement. Actually, what's wrong with you is you're having a psychotic break. You should take some psychotic medicines. And it was Harley Pasternak that then called 911 and had Kanye sent to the hospital. And it was Harley Pasternak that then
If that's true, that's disgusting.
leaked that to TMZ, that Kanye West was having a mental break. You guys remember that?
That's demonic. That's not his friend. That's not his trainer. He's against him. If that's the truth, that's really evil.
Right? And then suddenly we're all told that he has bipolar disorder, and he believed it. He believed that something was wrong with him. Like, obviously, everyone around him is saying you couldn't possibly like Donald Trump, so he believed that he was bipolar, right? And so it's interesting to consider Harley Pasternak. Why is Harley Pasternak an interesting character? Well, the first thing is his background. Harley Pasternak actually served as a scientist at the Department of National Defense, DND, Defense and Civil Institute for Environmental Medicine. That is, they support the Canadian Armed Forces, okay? So he was a scientist for 2 years at DRDC Toronto, a military research station that is part of the DND. The DRDC researches human systems integration, social and psychological factors that affect the resolution of conflict, psychology of malicious intent, and social and cultural factors influencing behavior. Could be relevant, could also not be relevant, but it's interesting that he then becomes a trainer and he's got this background, and then he encourages Kanye West to take medicine and has him committed to the hospital because he put on a MAGA hat. Now, all of that, of course, could be, oh, well, whatever. Maybe Harley thought that Kanye really was having an episode and was just trying to help his friend, except recently, and what's really...
You can't consider it him trying to help his friend because, Candace, listen, if he called 911, let's just say that this is true. Well, I haven't fully got into it, right, woke family? Let's say he really called 911 to have Ye hospitalized. Why did he leak it to TMZ that Ye was being hospitalized? Is that not for clout? Is that not for clout to make him seem like make Ye seem like he's crazy? Come on, man. You have to understand that a lot of these people who you call your so-called friends are just snakes in the grass. That's why you got to cut them off.
Interesting about this is that the press has been completely silent on it. Harley Pasternak made another appearance. This time it was on Kanye's Twitter feed when he was going after various people in his life. Kanye tweeted that he was misdiagnosed, right? That his friend Harley Pasternak misdiagnosed him back in 2016. And Kanye also shared, his exact tweet was, "What should be obvious by now is that I was raised to stand for my truth regardless of consequences. So I will say this again. I was mentally misdiagnosed and nearly drugged out of my mind to make me a manageable, well-behaved celebrity." I'm sorry, what? And in case you think he's just saying that and he's just being crazy, because that sounds crazy. What do you mean? They were just going to drug you to make you, to manage you? That sounds insane. In case you think he's crazy, he also shared a text from Harley Pasternak, a recent text from Harley Pasternak. This is what Harley...
I'm going to help you one of a couple ways. First, you and I sit down and have a loving and open conversation, but you don't use cuss words. And everything that is discussed is based in fact. So logical, okay? And not some crazy stuff that dumb friend of yours told you or or you saw in a tweet. Second option, I have you institutionalized again, where they medicate the crap out of you, and you go back to Zombieland forever. Play date with the kids just won't be the same. That's actually crazy. I'm not even gonna lie. That's actually crazy.
Carly Pasternak wrote to Kanye, I'm going to help you one of a couple of ways. First, you and I sit down and have a loving and open conversation, but you don't use cuss words, and everything that is discussed is based in fact and not some crazy stuff that dumb friend of yours told you or you saw in a tweet. Second option, this is where it gets interesting, I have you institutionalized again, where they medicate the crap out of you and you go back to Zombieland forever. Play date with the kids just won't be the same.
Kanye literally said it in a tweet, or Ye literally said it in a tweet, and showed you he wasn't playing around. That's tough.
It was written to him by his, I guess somebody just helping him at the gym, his trainer. I'll have you institutionalized again.
And then medicate the
I'll
crap out of
send
you
you back to Zombieland,
forever.
talking about drugging a man so he doesn't recognize his own children.
That's evil.
And the media has stayed radio silent on this. So that to me is the conspiracy. Why on earth would the media remain radio silent on the fact that Harley Pasternak is open?
Because they're demonic. They're a part of that demonic being. And it's weird because I don't even know if they realize it or if they don't realize it that they're demonic. It's just a bunch of demonic activity going on. When it comes to the truth, they want to shy away from the truth because it hurts, right? It hurts hearing the truth. It hurts holding yourself accountable. When it comes to lies and deceit and evil, that's when they want to open up their mouths and speak. It's disgusting. I'm telling you, literally disgusting.
Openly admitting that he had something to do with Kanye being institutionalized once, and he's threatening to do it again. In what world is that legal? Again, there are a lot of questions that should be asked, and we should have the courage to ask them because it is getting very scary out there, and we are starting to recognize that our government is involved in way more than we could have ever imagined. And that's all I have to say about that. Okay.
All right, guys, we're gonna end it off. We're gonna end off the Candace Owens one at this. We're gonna get to I'm gonna preach now, and then from there we'll get to some Andrew Tate. So this is basically apparently false allegations that Lavaloon and Hassan Habib. So we're gonna figure out what happened.
So as far as any of the specifics here, it all appears to start with a Discord message from a streamer by the name of Lavaloon back in September, with her saying there, I think Hassan's outrage about everything is really funny because he slept with my friend when she was 17 and he was 24. With a streamer by the name of
Where's your evidence for you saying such a thing?
Chud Logic featuring this message in a stream yesterday, and the clip showing the message gets around. And as of recording, it has over...
That's a problem. Females will do anything for clout, bro. That's disgusting. Where is your evidence?
160,000 views. Now with this, many were pretty skeptical about the allegations because Lavaloon apparently has fought with streamers in the past. And then as it started gaining traction, she changed some of the details in her story, saying in a since deleted tweet that the relationship between Hassan and her friend was legal, and saying that her comment was about Hassan allegedly partaking in an adult relationship with a woman 5 years his junior.
You can tell if you look at her face, she looks like she's a demon anyway. If you're like her, you want to be careful for her. Guys, be careful for succubus demons like her, bro. They're just here to steal your energy. It's disgusting. In the name of being a feminist. Nasty.
With her going on to say on Patreon, Hassan Piker slept with my very young friend when he was not so young. It was legal, but he's denounced men publicly for doing much less. I don't care about it, and she's never going to come forward, but the fact exists nonetheless, an example of hypocrisy. And adding, let me be clear, she's not coming forward because she doesn't care, because none of this was a big deal. It was legal. I barely cared. Hassan did nothing illegal.
Cap, if you barely cared, you would have never posted on this thing. You're a clout demon. Stop. You're a clout demon. If you barely cared, this is exactly why you as a man, you have to be on your masculine journey and forget about evil women, bro. There's a lot of evil women out there, bro. You have to really pay attention to the women that are actually good and that will not set you up like this woman. This woman she thinks she's slick, but she's not. How are you going to make an or not even an allegation, but you said that the girl was 17, he was 24, right? Why? Okay. Why, if that's the truth, where's your evidence, number one? And then number two, you said you barely cared. If you barely cared, you would have not even talked about the situation, if it's quote unquote true. Come on now, be real with yourself.
Probably nothing immoral either. And so unsurprisingly, all of this makes its way back to Hassan, and he responds to the allegations in a stream. And there, saying the woman in question was 19 at the time of their relationship.
Such a ridiculous, slanderous lie. This person makes it so that other people have an even harder time believing women. It's already hard enough for women to come out. What the f*** are you doing?
So Philip DeFranco actually missed a lot of context. So this woman in question has been running around a bunch of streaming spots and a bunch of Discord saying she's got this nuke that she's gonna drop on Hassan. It could be career ending. It's gonna expose him.
Duds, I'm about to drop a Hassan nuke.
Uh-oh.
Whoa.
No, DM it
stop,
to me.
Stop doing that.
No.
Lav, you're gonna end your whole fucking career on this shit. Don't do it. Not in a good way. Literally, it's not worth it.
I know.
So
but every time his name is brought up, I'm like vibrating.
No, you shouldn't be. Stop.
That's disgusting. Why do you care so much about this dude if he has nothing? Like, bro, I'm telling you, this is exactly why I say, like, you have to be careful about the type of women that you allow in your life, bro. Because women like her will literally try to destroy you, bro. It's crazy.
Just know Hassan is well known in Los Angeles.
No.
And then she comes out with the fact that he was sleeping with a 17-year-old.
She didn't
and then after she gets called out, she walks it back saying, no, actually, it was a 19-year-old. It was completely... So when you were running around saying it was a nuke before, bitch, what was it? Like 17.
Like 17.
Which is a pretty big deal.
It's a whole difference.
Hey, it's the difference between you
free
being
and
in some
jail.
woman's cheek and a dude being in your cheeks. You get me? And see how you're talking, and she's done this numerous times.
Yeah, she's a serial liar.
She's a serial. All I know is this bitch is lying.
She's a serial succubus. You gotta stay away from evil people like her, man.
Okay, and she been lying.
That's crazy.
And let me ask this, okay?
That's crazy.
This is why I think this is interesting, because previously she'd called another man basically the Harvey Weinstein of Twitch. And then everyone's like, what the fuck are you trying to say? You just call this dude like some... And she's like, no. Actually, I walked that back. I shouldn't have said that.
I should not have made the Harvey Weinstein comparison. I shouldn't have. I will walk it back. I will walk it back completely.
And I was like... You just casually just be calling people some of the worst villains alive, and you...
But she's a woman. She's emotional, bro. You have to... This is exactly why it's hard as a man in 2022 to have certain conversations with women. Because on top of the feminism thing that they believe in, bro, a lot of these women just talk to talk. Let me say that again. A lot of these women just talk to talk. They don't know half the stuff that they're even saying. They don't really think about what they say before they say it because they're channeled by emotion. They allow their emotions to run them instead of logic. That's exactly why when a woman says to you, we are equal, we're not equal. There's a reason why we're not equal. Because we allow logic to run us. We as masculine men, y'all allow emotion to run y'all. We can never be on the same level of playing ground if you cannot think with logic. If you cannot think with logic, we cannot be on the same playing ground. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Let's continue.
You think that shit's acceptable?
You at some point, to me, you know what the fuck you're doing. You know your power. If it was a one-time thing, I still can't trust your ass. I can't trust you. But if you do it a bunch of times, you know what the hell you're doing, and then you're gonna come back, and then you're gonna come back and do it again because you know what you're doing, because you know you're not gonna get caught. Privilege.
Let's see.
I think
Yeah,
my
pretty
brain
privileged,
is
yeah.
fine. I think well. I just don't think before I speak. I just need to be more patient.
You see? What did I say? You allow your emotions to run you. This is why women like her, I'm sorry, she wouldn't be a good wife. She would not be a good wife. Men, be careful for women like her. It's not just her. But there's a lot of women like her that will try to ruin a man's career. All these men that are look at how many rape allegations that Chris Brown has been caught in, bro. Or not even caught in, but like has been accused of. Right? Who knows whether half of them are true or false? Or even other men before them. Look at the Johnny Depp situation that happened a couple months back. I don't know if it's been a year already. I don't remember. But I think it's been months. This is exactly why you have to be careful as a man in the world. especially in 2022, especially in America. A lot of these women are out here to get you, bro. That's why you have to deal with the ones that actually truly care about you and that want to actually have a future with you and actually want to do stuff with you. Real talk, man. We live in and I don't even listen to Future a lot, but even Future said it too. It's an evil world we live in, man.
I'm just impulsive. I'm just impulsive and retarded. I'm obviously severely mentally ill.
Nah.
Don't give her a pass.
Nah. That's the excuse afterwards. Because the first time you said that shit, I'd be like, all right, that's a fucking retarded thing to do, but hope you learn. And then you do it again and again and again and again and again and again. Nah, B.
Well, they're accountable.
Nah, you gotta know how serious this shit is the first time you got caught doing it, right?
The reason she doesn't know is just because she's not a man, bro. Women don't get held accountable in 2022. Let me say it again. Women don't get held accountable in 2022. It's bullshit, bro. So they want to talk about their equal. They want to be equal when it comes to outcome, but not when it comes to responsibility.
And then you're like, I'm
or accountability.
Impulsive, and it was fucked up and everything. And I'd be like, hey, you still a stupid motherfucker, and I can't trust you. But you can't use the same. I'm just impulsive. No, I can't. When I was a kid, I was impulsive. I was slapping motherfuckers left, right, and center. Yeah. You would cross me, I would slap the fuck out of you. No questions. What the fuck you say? Whack. First time, like, I'm just impulsive. The next few times, people are like, nah, you gotta fucking hold yourself. Because it ain't cute. When you're 9, it's gonna pass. When you're 12, cops are coming. You understand what I'm saying? You become a whole threat. You have to understand that.
Facts.
The first time, we get it. But no, you can't use the same excuse over
multiple times.
No,
Facts.
girl. No. I have money, but I'm not buying it.
Hold up. You're impulsive. Your impulsivity is not something separated from you. You are the impulsiveness. Do you understand what that means? I don't get to punch a bitch in the face and be like, I got anger management issue, as if that matters.
Or I'm a Scorpio. Come on, bro.
Oops.
You going to jail, stupid. I got ADHD. I can't focus and I just stuck my dick in a random bitch. That's not how it works. Like, people use this mental health shit as if it's a get out of jail free card.
For real.
To explain away your irrational behavior.
Mm-hmm.
You got a problem? Okay. Guess what that means? You got to learn to work with your problem. Just because you have BPD does not mean you get to treat everybody like garbage.
Facts.
And not be accountable for that.
Facts.
That's not what that means. It means that you
I don't even fully support Albert Preach, but I agree with what they're saying.
are doing everything in your power to mitigate as much of the hurt as you are doing. And if you hurt somebody, you still need to be accountable for that. It makes it more understandable, but it doesn't make it any less wrong. You understand?
Big facts.
Let's keep listening.
Whatever. I'm a bad person. Don't take me seriously. I guess. I don't know. Clearly I'm not okay. I'm very mentally ill. I don't know if I should be in this space, but now I don't know.
I'm mentally ill now? Really? When people have told you before to take accountability over the years, you said, no, I got a lot to say, all this stuff. Now that shit's really coming down, you're mentally ill and you shouldn't be in this space? Damn, it's unbelievable how people try to skip accountability. Did you guys see that?
Big facts.
Snake in the grass.
You know what it is? People are using this mental health thing to do a lot of things. The same way some men are using being gay whenever they do things to other men.
What?
Kevin Spacey. When he got called out, he said, well, I'm gay. He came out. He used that as, there is such thing as gay privilege for those kind of things. Okay. And it's the same thing whenever you use, it's not me. I'm a bit crazy. It's not me. Here's the craziness talking. No.
Maybe I don't interact with the
How many
internet the
times
way
are you
that
going
I'm
to say
supposed
that
to.
before you do
Because
something about it?
I will never fucking do anything about it.
That's the question.
That way.
When are you going to do something about it?
Like you said, I'm not going to do anything.
Let's listen to her response. Here we go. I believe the individual in question is Lycan. Shout outs to you, brother.
Let's go. Werewolf, stand up.
Do anything about it. I won't. This is just who I am.
What? No, bring that shit back. I did not hear properly.
I shouldn't have said anything. I'm very impulsive.
maybe I don't interact with the
How many
internet the
times
way
are
that
you going
I'm
to say
supposed
that
to.
before you do
Because
something about it?
I will never fucking do anything about it.
Wow! I heard right. Wow! Wow! I heard right. I thought, okay, fuck that shit.
Then why would no.
I've been a streamer for 3 months. Give me let me.
How many times do you have to get into these situations before you realize, fuck, maybe I need to step back and consider how I behave on stream and what I say publicly?
She's been on this shit for 3 months?
No.
And how many? Okay, how many times did it happen?
3 times.
3 and 3?
But
Every month there's a new shit?
She's been on TikTok and she's got a bunch of followers, 500K followers for like almost 2 years.
Okay, so she's lying again.
She lying. She can't stop lying. She's acting like, no, she's lying.
I'm obviously severely mentally ill. I dissociate constantly. Like I don't know like what is real and what is like
Here's
not
a real
real.
piece of
I'm extremely underdeveloped socially. Now take all of that and I do not like I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I know that I made a mistake. I feel fucking bad.
It's fine. Let's erase everything that's happened up to this point. You're gonna go forward from the stream, trying to make a change. That is the key. And
I don't know if I am, and you can't hold me to that. I don't know. Oh my god, this is so annoying. Everything becomes about me. Everything becomes about me. It always comes.
Why are you crying? These are fake tears. These are fake tears. You're faking it. Like, stop. What are you doing? Take accountability for your mess up and do better. It's not hard. If you know something triggers you, then talk about it off stream. Don't talk about it on stream. Don't talk shit about, like, excuse my language, but don't talk crap about another person, especially when you know it's false, just for attention. It makes you a clout demon.
It's back to me. Why?
My friends, this is a sickness of the highest order.
I tell
We
you.
have discovered that you are allergic to accountability. In America, you can do this. You can go and say, this one, he's eaten my child. And then they're going to say, but you've never given birth. I'm retarded, I'm stupid. We have created a society that rewards people for having a sickness. Look at this one. Imagine you are nobody. Then you say somebody touched you like this. They just grabbed your balls like this and they tickled. All of a sudden, you're on every mainstream news. We have rewarded people for engaging in deception. Imagine if you have come out, you are nobody, and you say, Hassan, this man, he has ruptured my anus. Sodomy, we don't want this one, the sickness.
Whenever we're talking about fake allegations, that's not what we're talking about, by the way, for those who are wondering. Whenever they're talking about, well, yeah, but there's only 3% of fake allegations. This is not one of them, because that's not reported.
Let me take it a step further. She'd reported another dude before these two, right? And everybody celebrated her. Go Queen, you're so brave. She told us the details of the story. You know what happened? This is what she claimed happened. She said she went on this date with this dude. They were flirting. They went back to his place.
And then I made like a joke about it. My first video was like, LOL, that one time when like this like LA comedian like kind of forced me to eat his ass when I was like pushing against him. LOL. And it was just like a funny video.
Why is Destiny? No, why is Destiny making that face? That's crazy. I'm not even gonna lie. He said he forced you to do what?
Sound funny? That sounds really extreme.
And this might be a bit fucked up, but like I feel like eating ass has got to be one of the hardest things to force someone to do.
There was a lot of pressure on my head, and he was like keeping my mouth full and making sure that he was not making eye contact with me. So
I'm sorry. Nah, this is crazy. This is actually crazy. Nah, bro.
Weird. I wouldn't say that he raped me, but it was definitely like a very strange situation.
And basically, she was eating.
She said you said he forced you, then you said he didn't force you. Which one is it?
Them from the back, and then she went home. And I kept thinking to myself, do you know how hard it is to force someone to do something for you while you're on all fours? And they behind you?
And they spray it.
I'm sorry, my nigga. I'm just saying. Listen, if you want me to do something to you, bitch, you better not give me your back. Give me your money. Hey, wait, there's a hold up. Hey, bitch, where your money at? Give it to me now. I'll fucking kill you. Oh, wait, let me not aim on my own asshole.
No, it would be funny if he holds the gun in his butt cheek and he's just like, give me your money. Give it. Yeah, put it in the pocket. Put it in the back pocket. Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. Let's laugh at no. You don't laugh at this one. She's made up 2 times, Ali. You think the first one was real? She's made up 2 times. Why should you trust anything this bitch says?
That's an MO right now. That's an MO. That's
and you guys ask me, why do people lie? I don't know. She don't even know. She said she recorded.
She's a pathological liar. That's what it is.
People ask you?
No, we're not laughing at that. No, you get that shit out of here. Imagine if there was a serial rapist out there and he's just out here getting his ass eaten, just bending over like, you my shit now with this back alley. But I'm scared. Walk away, but this man gave you back.
You scared while the guy's like screaming, oh yeah. Fuck, sorry. Didn't mean
the reason why I say this is because, like, if you ever had your ass eaten, you know how much of a vulnerable and weak position it is.
You don't have to have your ass eaten to know that.
There's, you know, I'm just saying, when you get your ass eaten from the back, it's very hard to look manly.
Dude.
I mean, you gotta arch your back. It's already a wrap. Or it's hard to look stuck down and have your back arched.
Or you have your legs behind your head.
Oh no, we're not doing that one. I don't know. That one's a crazy one. I mean,
he was being very menacing. Oh yeah.
Okay. Sorry. People say this all the time. Like I always admit this. I have a big bias against white women. I do. But part of that is like informed by my personal experience, and I've seen the way society reacts to them. And like white women, just I don't know what it is, but they just make the most sympathetic victim. They understand how to cry on demand and do whatever it is to like sympathize. And not all y'all, because plenty of y'all are mad cool. But I just know it's like the best victims have always been like white ladies for some reason, right? I've had like. So the situation, I've had women I've never met, I've never seen, never spoken to, like DMing people around me being like, yo, Abba came to my school when I was 16 in Oklahoma and he said hi to me and now he won't return my calls now that I'm 19. And I'm like, bitch, I ain't never been to Oklahoma and I ain't talking no goddamn 16-year-old. Who the fuck? This girl bought Patreon accounts, was messaging other creators. And I'm thinking like, yo, this is crazy. But the thing is, you can't defend yourself too hard. How do I prove
something that did not happen?
Exactly. How do I prove I don't know this person? They can fabricate DMs. I can't show you a message history that doesn't exist.
It's like when Amazon asks you, give us a proof that you didn't receive the email. How? I sent a picture of me like this.
I thought you were gonna arch your back, nigga. I was like, don't do that shit. give me that email, bitch.
I have nothing. Look, it's all old.
I will say that I somewhat agree with them when it comes to the white, like the average white girl or white woman being able to attract sympathy, bro. But this is why you as a man, you have to be careful and know the type of woman you're dealing with, because it's not a matter of whether she's white, black, Asian, Indian. It doesn't matter. You know, it really doesn't matter. You got to pay attention to her morals. You got to pay attention to what she stands for. Is she trying to add value to your life? How is she trying to help you level up? Those are the things that you got to pay attention to the most.
Stop. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like, we laughing right now because you got to laugh, but like, this shit's frightening. For real. Right?
Yes.
So we got to cut this whole believe in them win shit because
can't believe all
last
women.
4 or 5 years, we've gone to great lengths. So many high-profile stories have come out, and you see, guess what? Just like men, bitches be lying too.
Facts.
Right? So, cut this movement out. Stop this whole idea of inherently believing people who do not present any factual evidence of what has happened. And it's got to be a lot of evidence. Not some fucking recording that's like edited by the person themselves. Actual evidence. Because we still live in a society with minimal evidence. Women don't get the whole media behind them. Hassan's very fortunate in this regard. The person who was coming at him is a retard, self-admittedly. If it was someone who's a little bit more savvy, someone who's a little bit more strategic, this could be far more heinous, and it would have been much more difficult for him to defend himself. As heinous as having to eat a man's asshole against your will. Okay? Anything you want to add?
No.
Nah.
I thought you were going to turn around and be like, turn it up.
You guys are funny. All right, guys. Next video, man. Next video.
Blind date.
The next video is in regards to Ye, Kyrie, and the Jewish community.
Today's topic, Kanye, Kyrie, and the Jews. Hey, listen, we walking on a thin ice, you feel me? This is how every fucking black artist has been talking about this issue. To be like, hey, we don't support or condone that kind of talk, but these are my, So why don't we cut through the bullshit and let's talk about it? I'm gonna ask you first. How do you feel? You're aware Kanye West, Kyrie Irving have been reprimanded either by big companies like Adidas that have cut their ties with Kanye, or the Brooklyn Nets who suspended Kyrie Irving, the basketball player, and told him he had a bunch of demands, including sensitivity training before he could come back to work, over the fact that he endorsed or kind of highlighted a documentary or a movie of sorts that was on Amazon. He was trying to tell people to go watch it, and that documentary was a little bit spicy, you know, alluded to some anti-Semitic stuff, some mustache man thing. It was kind of crazy, allegedly.
So you're gonna go after Kyrie for having just retweeting the link to that documentary, but you're not gonna go after Jeff Bezos for having that on his platform? Was it the money? What's going on? Huh? Hold on. I asked him a question. Huh? You're not gonna go after the actual platform that this thing is on that you're against?
The only thing that you can say about that is that Jeff Bezos is not an employee. He's a business owner. He owns Amazon. Therefore, I don't think anybody could technically come after him over that. You know?
You're gonna go after the player? Huh? Nah, speak up, I didn't hear. Yeah, nothing. The 6 things that you have to do to go back to, I think that's a bit much. That's me. That's a bit much. That's a bit much. The second thing, if I talk about Kanye, whatever, Kanye, whether you like Kanye or not, who you think is a coon or whatever, I'm gonna say this. Adidas, you severed your ties with Kanye, but you're still gonna sell the Yeezys.
Doesn't make any sense. Ye is easy. No cap.
I am not having none of it. None. It's all about the money.
So are you saying you got money but you're not buying?
I got
exactly.
the money.
But I ain't
It's
buying.
right there. Not buying. The inconsistency is a secret. See, you haven't me say that. But it's crazy. Yeah. When they said that, oh yeah, no, we're still gonna we do not agree with, but we're still gonna sell the price. God damn.
From
it's
my
about the money. It's not even the principle.
Seeing the media and these organizations reprimand Kyrie or Kanye, I suspect that this didn't lower anti-Semitism in any type of way. If anything, it just fomented it and increased it in a lot of communities. You have to get at the root of it, which is a lot of people kind of parody this trope that Jewish people are part of some kind of grand conspiracy or that they have all the power. And then the moment this kind of stuff is brought up, everyone says anti-Semitic, and they try to lobby some kind of criticism or try to get these people to pay for the things that they've said. Even Dave Chappelle recently, in his monologue, people have come at him for saying he's normalizing anti-Semitic. I remember one point during this whole thing, Dave talks about the fact that he worked in Hollywood for a long time. And he's like, there's a lot of Jews in Hollywood. And people are like, oh my God, here's the thing. You get in on your account and yell like, oh, anti-Semitic. Guess what? If you've ever worked in Hollywood, there's a lot of Jews, whether you like it or not. And if our response to that statement is inherently just, get this person, get rid of this person, you know what the average person is looking at that thing and thinking? Did they say a lie? Because if they didn't, why are you trying to cancel them or trying to get them reprimanded? So instead of always turning to immediately just being like, oh, anti-Semitic, why don't you do the smart thing, which is just demystify the reasons why
they said what they said.
Overrepresented in positions of leadership in Hollywood, or demystify the reason why Biden's cabinet is like 50% Jewish. Like, even though these are such a small population, only time we see them represented in media is when they're at the upper echelons of society. That's generally how we internalize Jewish people. The thing I'm trying to get at is, as a black person, the only time we ever heard about Jewish people was either like when they were running some company or when they were referenced in rap songs or hip hop music videos. If you're walking through the street and you meet a Jewish person, you might not even know they're Jewish because they just represent as white presenting. The only time you really internalize someone's Jewish is when you hear about them achieving things, right? It's not like Asians. I see Asians at my corner store. I see them in the streets. They're visible. They're on the buses with me. I don't know when I'm next to a Jewish person. So my only media interpretation of Jewish people is in positions of power or in rap songs being spoken about very poorly. Get me? And as someone who's digested hip hop, all I ever heard since the 90s is like, these niggas are stealing our money. These niggas are doing that. The Jewish people control us, right? That is all I ever heard. And then I look and I got Biden's cabinet that's 50% Jewish. That's all you're seeing from a media perspective. So that's where.
But I think, you know what I think the thing is though, Abba? I think the thing is that Ye's perspective, Ye is basically trying to say that he believes that they have screwed him business-wise. Now, whether that's true or not, I'm not God, I don't know. I'm not in that situation. But I think there's a higher percentage that if you are in a position of power and you have a lot of people that are within that position, the chances of you getting screwed a lot more, especially if you're not within that sector or within that race or within that group, is a lot higher. Because to them, their goal is just to primarily profit off of you. You know?
Folks have to come in and demystify the reason why. Because right now, I don't know why. Because if you don't, we're still going to see what it is. We just won't know why it's there. You get what I'm trying to say? And to just draw a quick parallel, black people are overrepresented when it comes to crime in North America. If someone says, yo, black people commit a lot of crime, and you're
racist,
you got to do the extra step and be like, the reason why they're so overrepresented is due to cultural, socioeconomic issues, poverty. Then you demystify it so you understand, okay, once you remove a lot of these factors, actually the crime rate drops significantly until the point where it's like not that different from. Here's something that is true, okay? And I actually linked to somebody who really studied Jewish history and was a scholar of such. And they talk about the fact that during the 50s and the 60s, the people who were either the co-owners or owners of a lot of the record labels, okay, were Jewish people. And these were people who were signing these people to exploitative deals, where they're either stealing their money, stealing a lot of the cuts of their artists, and basically going through the process where they were taking advantage of black people in these positions. Now, if you understand the history of black folks in North America, there's a lot of exploitation where they feel a lot of the wealth that black people generated has been siphoned out of the community. And when you constantly see media representation of Jewish people and stealing those, as well as historical context that makes that shit true, you can understand why there's a bit of a negative sentiment and animosity. Like, this might surprise y'all, but most black people did not give a fuck about Kanye's comments about Jewish people. They didn't really care about what Kyrie did because their relationship with the Jewish people was like, oh yeah, that shit sounds true. So until you demystify that, most black people are not gonna care. And then you punish these people, whether you feel it's justified or not, they're just going to build that animosity even further.
That's
so this
facts.
is why I'm trying to say the dialogue needs to be a bit better.
We're talking about the music and Jewish people, and it's crazy.
There's a bunch of bars.
I remember when I was listening to the Fugees. You know the Fugees was big for me, right? So that's the first time I saw some Haitian people being well represented and being proud to be Haitian and stuff like that. Now, before that era, it was not good to be black or to be like Haitian, even like whatever.
Nice.
And I remember I used to be underrated. Now I take Heinz, make my shit constipated. are more concentrated. So on my day off with David Sonnenberg, I play golf. Everything is a reference to a CEO of Sony and this and that. Once upon a criminal, Mazel Tov. Problem when human before I'm black, I'm first human. I protect the right like Frederick Douglass with the slave. Like it was always. If you listen to hip hop, there's always a reference.
Yep.
And saying, well, there's a lot. There's a lot of Jews in there's a lot of Jews. There's a lot of black people in a lot of industries, right? There's a lot of people in rap. That's racist. Okay. There's a lot of people in the NFL. That's racist. There's a lot of black people in track and field. None of this is racist and what's good. We could say that. When we talk about white people, though we could say, well, white people in a position of power. Yeah, that's bad. But the other overrepresentation we can't really talk about. And then when we do, because we want to question, we just want to question. We can't do that. It's not. You have to understand how weird it sounds, guys.
Is that true though?
What?
That they just want to question. Because if we being honest, let me put on my little, you know what I mean? And I got the hat, okay? If I'm being honest, a lot of people are not just being like, well, I'm quite inquisitive. Some of them being like, yo, listen, bro, how you feel about the Illuminati? Because the Jews run this shit.
Yeah, I heard that thing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard.
I know you like it halal, but you going back to like it kosher too, motherfucker. Yeah, you about to get it.
I understand that, but it's like we can't even. There's no. You can't maneuver this thing. You can't maneuver or ask because you're always walking on eggshells. That's sus. Whether you want to question or you're like, that's. The minute you talk about something, then you get X'd. That's.
Have you guys noticed a very, very important topic when it comes to this, bro? When it comes to the Jewish community, if you speak out negatively against them, you're gonna get canceled for anti-Semitism, right? When it comes to the Muslim community, Islam, right? If you speak out negatively against them, you will get death threats. People will threaten to take your life. People will threaten to cancel you. People will threaten to hurt your family. But when it comes to Christianity, people disrespect Christianity on a daily basis and nothing happens to them. We need to step up when it comes to the way that people represent Christianity, and people need to stop being lukewarm and start trusting in God more and start living out his commandments so he can bless you abundantly.
Weird. And you know how they say, like, hey, if you want to know who's oppressing you, just check who you can't talk about. Man, we can't talk about y'all like you talk about us. We can't. Not even state of fact. Where you're going to be classified. That's
anti-Semite.
Are you trying to say you feel oppressed by the Jews?
Nope. Not me.
I don't have that deep of a curiosity about this group of people. I don't. It's not something I really research or take an interest in. I'm just telling you what I've heard through my peripheries pretty much my entire life going on. And so that's why I wasn't surprised by any of these comments, because this sounds like a lot of the shit I was hearing in hip hop pretty much my whole life.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, my suggestion is just that when it comes to this conversation, because you're looking at two communities that are coming from a place of like damage and extreme hurt, right? You have the Jewish people dealing with their Holocaust and, you know, anti-Semitism throughout the world. You got black folks who are dealing with, you know, Jim Crow and exploitation and through the media industry.
And that's just in the U.S.
You know,
but in the world, I'm
saying
saying what you're saying, the Jim Crow and everything stuff, that's in the U.S. But you have the apartheid, you have a lot of other things going on throughout the world. So you got your thing, we got our thing.
Yeah, you know, so all this to say, I think a bit of demystifying in regards to why things are in the place that they are. Like I drew the comparison with black crime or whatever it is, there's got to be a better education in regards to a lot of this stuff. Not just we got 6 demands, and you're going to take... Do you honestly believe that Kyrie goes through this process and he's changed his opinions? You will put a grown man in timeout and you think you're going to change his mind? No. If anything, his fan base was bolstered. Even though he may have lost endorsement deals in terms of the actual ideas, they've just grown more popular and anti-Jewish sentiment is increased. So the strategy that they're employing in order to fix the problem is backfiring. Yeah. So more conversations are needed in order to make things more sane. And not this shit where you go like, get rid of his brand deals, but we'll still sell the shoes. Like, that doesn't make sense.
Are people gonna be like, hey, you know what? Yeah, Kyrie's not bad. Or they're gonna be like, wait a minute. What's that thing he was posting about? Let me see that.
Yep.
Let me see that shit.
Yep.
What's it about? That's what's gonna happen. More than the opposite. So like the way you when you're saying that it's backfiring, yeah, I tend to agree. Yeah. I really tend to agree with that.
It's my socials blew up with like on Twitter or whatever, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when it was hashtag the Jews, it wasn't exactly positive.
I mean,
you know what I mean? When they were talking about Facebook, it wasn't exactly the greatest thing. So when I'm seeing this, I'm like, I think it's backfiring. Just my thoughts.
Is it a couple of Jewish people that care, or most Jewish people don't? Like they're like, man, that's not.
No, they care.
The Jewish people?
Jewish people are like genuinely worried about the prospect of anti-Semitism, or because they understand.
They're gonna be worried, bro. That's what it is.
To another cause, right? So, yeah, they're actually worried.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, let us know what you guys think. Today's.
All right, guys. We're gonna move on to the next video. Apparently, Top G himself, my guy Andrew Tate, was rejecting a girl. We're gonna see it right now. I don't know what this is about, but we'll figure it out right now.
Bad about
You used it against me.
What's bad about Andrew Tate?
What's not?
What are like 3 things that you hate about him?
He's a bitch.
He's a bitch.
He's a bitch.
I find it funny how you're calling him a female dog, but if in real life, you wouldn't have that same energy. I promise you wouldn't have that same energy. You're triggered because you're an emotional woman who doesn't know any better. You'd rather shame him and call him a female dog, but if he were to do the exact same thing to you, you would have a problem with it. Let me say that again. If he were to do the exact same thing to you, you know you'd have a problem with it. Come on, bro, let's be real.
So he's a bitch.
And he's bald.
What's wrong with being bald?
Bald. So he's a bitch, and he's bald.
Okay. Why did no one tell me how exhausting it is to be an adult?
These are the people that we're going to marry in the future?
Women.
This is how we solve all of your problems. He didn't text me back. You have a full roster, okay? You line them up. He ditches you, you grab the next and the next and the next.
My boyfriend is on his way over right now, and we are having a conversation. Stay tuned to see how it goes. Wish me luck. Well, I'm single now.
Rejected. She needs come to live, and she's been dry for days.
Are you kidding me?
I wish I was, Doctor.
She's a demon. She's a demon. She's a succubus.
We need.
Good morning to all of us single people working regular jobs who have no one to split half the bills with. How y'all doing?
Who the fuck are you, bitch?
Y'all good? Me too.
Life for a man is harder than life for a woman. Most men live depressing lives. Women have an innate value that prevents them from ever being truly depressed. You can be the fattest, ugliest bitch in the world. You can go to the club tonight and get some dick. You can always get a new experience. At least you can feel wanted for 10 minutes. For most men out here, they can't even feel wanted. Their wife left them. They're invisible to women. Their kids don't talk to them. They're not wanted by anyone. Of course they're depressed.
Sometimes it doesn't matter
who you are. Sometimes it's just lonely. Sometimes nobody understands. It doesn't matter how strong you are. Have you feel that way? I just want to be appreciated. I want to be appreciated.
All right, so how does this have to do with Andrew Tate shutting down the women?
I want to be appreciated.
This woman just cheated. Wiped her smelly box off before she went inside to her husband.
Wait, this woman just... This woman cheated on her husband, wiped off before she... Wait, wiped off what? Wiped off what? Hold on. We're gonna see it now. Let me see this again.
I want to be appreciated.
This woman just cheated.
Wiped off what? And she was being recorded.
Wiped her smelly box off before she went in.
Oh, she wiped her. Oh, shoot. Men, you gotta do better. So when guys are when we as masculine men are telling you this is why you need to sign a prenup before you get married. This is why you need to vet the woman out for a couple of years. Women in the West are designed to not be trained for marriage. They will do nasty stuff like this and then want you to take them seriously. They will have an OnlyFans, be smashing other dudes on camera, and then come to you and want you to wife them up. There's a reason why you can't take them seriously, bro. This is disgusting, bro.
Inside to her husband.
I'm good, bro.
Guys, ask a woman why she keeps baby wipes in her purse. These women are getting down behind your back. Especially if you're in a relationship, these women get bored. I'm telling you, they're used to getting different flavors of pipe. They're used to hooking up with this guy and that guy. So if they actually get in a relationship where they get married, they're going to be wondering, what's going out there in the carousel? You know, what about this guy? What about that guy? I think I'm missing out. So it's easier for them to get a quick hookup. As opposed to men, you know, you got to put in a little work. All a woman has to do is raise her hands, get on a dating app, get on Tinder, wherever, and boom, they got the next sex session. And then they come back to you like, hey, baby, how's it going? And the fact that she wiped herself and she sniffed it, it almost like she wanted to keep the memory of that hookup, that Chad Tyrone that got that plowed her, that bust in her. It's crazy, guys, but I'm telling you,
it's nasty.
You can't run anything past women. Don't just trust them 100% because they'll say, I'm going out to the store real quick. I'm going out to the gym. I'm going to see my parents real quick down the street. And yeah, they're going to get their back blown out down the street. They're hooking up with some other dude. It only takes a couple minutes, right? All a dude needs to do is boom, 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 boom. All right, she got her fixed. And now she's coming back home to you like nothing happened.
Was he the dad?
Oh, hell no.
She had a child with another man while in a relationship. Oh my gosh.
So did he know it might not be his
Shout out to Just Pearly Things.
the whole time?
Yes, but he never went to go get the paternity test because, as I said, he wanted to make me his.
So you knew he wanted. Yeah, you're just a demon. That's all. That's all you are. You're literally just a demon. So you knew he wanted to, but you took advantage of him and you had sex with another man, had another child with him. Yeah, you don't deserve anything good, bro. I'm sorry, and I'm not even the one to say that. I'm not God, but it's like that's just so despicable, bro. You know what? I'll take back my statement. I rebuke my statement, but it's like you're evil for that. You're evil for that.
And I'm talking, I went back to him, was trying to help him so much because of lack of validation from my parents. I was like trying to fix men, trying to fix him.
Were you cheating on him?
Hell no, I was loyal.
How are you loyal if the kid wasn't his?
Stop the cap.
Okay, no.
You see, I'm just a little confused.
Okay.
I have genital herpes, and I'm afraid that no one will ever love me.
That took a fast ass time.
I broke up.
Damn.
Wouldn't like a woman who was competent enough to help me. Why would I want to go to my girlfriend and say, hey, the Matrix is attacking me, or hey, the mafia is trying to kill me? And her being like, all right, cool, give me the AR, let me go. That's not the kind of woman I'm interested in. Her job is to motivate me spiritually. Her job is to say, I love you with all my heart, no matter what they say about you, no matter what lies they tell, I'm here for you. It is her job
Big facts.
to be happy, regardless of all the stress. I deal with the stress. I deal with the problems. I'm allowed to be negative or miserable or angry. It's her job to be an endless source of sunshine in my life. It's her job to be healing if I get sick, to lay in bed with me, to heal me, to nurse me. That is a female's job and a female's imperative.
Hold up. 2 weeks after Tom Brady and his wife get their divorce finalized, she's already running around with her new man.
This is why you as a dude, bro, don't get married, bro. It's not worth it. It really isn't worth it. I don't think it's worth it in 2022 anymore.
Come on, man. Don't y'all find that a little bit suspicious? She been smashing dude. She been smashing dude on Tom Brady's watch. My whole thing is, if the greatest player in NFL history, 7-time winning Super Bowl champion Tom Brady, can't keep his woman happy, what chance do I got?
This is gonna really suck for a lot of you guys to hear, but your soon-to-be ex-girlfriend, your soon-to-be ex-wife, she already has your replacement. Women leave mentally first before they leave physically. So they'll be there with you, they'll cook for you, they'll have sex with you, they'll kiss you, they'll tell you that they love you, but they're already planning their getaway. They already know who they're gonna hook up next with, who they're gonna leave with. They just have to be secure with that guy. They gotta know this guy's gonna be better than you or he's not gonna leave. So she'll stick with you for months, even years, just to make sure that this next guy is the one, that he's better than you.
Facts. This is why you as a guy, you have to always be in your best position. If you know you're a dude and you're bigger, get in the gym and stay consistent in the gym, eat cleaner, get your bag. Do whatever you can do on a daily basis to level up. There are no more excuses, guys.
And if he's not better than you, she doesn't know, she'll still keep you around and say, let's just be friends, all the while she's moving on to the next guy. Guys, it's really sad, but no matter how successful you are, like Tom Brady, no matter how much you got going for yourself, no matter how much you pour into your life, you cannot make a woman happy. Live for yourself. Do the things that you want to do. And as Tom Brady, he's a multi-Super Bowl champion. He's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. He has tons of endorsements. The guy is 6'4", 6'5", won MVP. I mean, you name it. What hasn't he accomplished? But here's the thing. He has a woman who just really didn't care about him. She cared about herself, and now she's getting her fix. 2 weeks after leaving the man, she's already hooking up and dating a guy like that. Guys, she's been doing that. She's been getting plowed ever since the off season. But she just let him know, hey, I want a divorce. First, she tried to try him and say, you know what, if you don't basically retire from football, then it's over with. And then, okay, since you didn't retire, now I'm just my excuse to leave. She was already going to leave him anyway. So why don't you just make yourself happy, guys? Pour into yourself, focus on yourself, love yourself, and everything will be straight. Listen, women come and go. You can't control them. Only thing you can control is yourself. Own happiness and what you get out of life.
That is a fact.
So I heard my ex was talking to somebody new. Yeah, we're not gonna do that. No.
He's your ex. Why do you care? Why do you care? He's your ex. Weirdo.
I don't care if I don't want to date you. If I don't want you, but you're not gonna go talk to somebody new.
Yeah.
You're still mine. I still own you. And plus, what if I get bored? What if I want to come back? No one's gonna get in the way of that.
She doesn't respect herself. That's disgusting.
Is it a red flag if a girl has a high body count?
Yeah,
Yes.
of course.
What do you mean, of course?
Why does she have a high body
I
count?
don't know, maybe because why does a guy have a high body count?
We're not the same. I keep saying it. We're not the same. You as a woman, you are known to be, or your value is seen through your purity, through your virginity, through your innocence, or through your quote unquote low body count. So if you're just out here getting dicked down by every dude, it just goes to show you that you don't really have value. Whereas a man, if you're able to sleep with multiple women, it shows that you're a man of high value. Now, do I encourage men to do that? If you know that you've built yourself up to be the man to do it, right? First and foremost, you're going to put yourself in a position to marry those women. Not in America, or if you're going to get married to them, you have a prenup. You vetted all those women. You trust those women, and you want to be able to keep a rotation of women around you. So that's something that you have to really put time and effort into. You feel me? It's not something that you're gonna do and it's like gonna be like, oh yeah, no, like it takes effort. But let's continue.
A guy and a girl are not the same.
And what do you think a high body count is?
Anything over 2.
For him, it's anything over 2. For me, it's anything over 1.
Got him. We fucking got him.
Over 2?
Yeah.
So basically, if she's not a virgin.
Yeah, you should save your body for your husband.
When we get paid,
Facts.
I will spend as much money as I want because it's our money and he decided to marry me. And I do everything that he wants, like I'll cook and clean and stuff like that. And when he makes money, I'm gonna spend it. And that's just what marriage is. Like, you don't have to get married. As soon as we became one, whatever is his is also mine. So I pretty much live my life as I please. And that's just the way it is. Like, I don't know what else to tell you.
Can I read it? You can read it. I'll read it. I would never let a woman pay for a bill.
If someone touched any of my women, I would stand up against them.
Stand up against 10 men by myself and risk my life to protect her.
I believe women are the most precious things on the planet. They create life. They should be protected.
I believe that women are beautiful creatures. I like this guy. I like this guy. He knows what he's saying.
Both those quotes are from a man known as Andrew Tate.
Oh God, no! I take it back. Don't. You're a trickster.
Was that a nice statement?
You're mean. You're mean.
Why?
I'm gullible.
What's bad about
You used it against me.
What's bad about Andrew Tate?
What's not?
What are like 3 things that you hate about him?
He's a bitch.
He's a bitch.
He's a bitch.
So he's a bitch.
And he's bald.
And he's bald. So he's a bitch, and he's bald.
You said he's a female dog twice and he's bald. Are you any better looking? Stop the cap. Stop the cap, man. Let's stop it. Anyway, guys, we're gonna move on to the next video. Shout out to Iman Gaji. We're gonna watch one of his videos right now, and we'll move forward. Let's get it. How long is this video for? 30 minutes. We'll watch like 10 minutes.
So, have you ever stopped to consider that becoming a top 1% man involves seeing things that you simply can never unsee, such as your true potential? And once you're shown that with a little bit of work you can be, do, and have whatever you want in life, you will never be able to see the world from the same lens. And therein lies the first dark problem. You're now for once in your life aware of not only what you don't want, but what you do want and who you can become. And being fully aware of the gap between where you are right now and the top 1% men that you aspire to, that distance can torture you to death if you don't work to make it to the top. So what I'm going to do today in practice is show you what steps you need to take in order to become a top 1% man, or like I refer to it, a new Renaissance man. This pyramid represents the hierarchical structure of society, and the vast majority of the people will inevitably be stuck at the bottom for their entire existence. And as sad as that may be, it's just the honest reality, and they will always be stuck under the thumb of the puppet masters. And in contrast to that, at the very top of the pyramid, we have the new Renaissance man. And these are the men who broke free from the puppet master's control and decided to live life on their terms. And on the last episode of the Digital Renaissance, I showed you the 5 millionaire traits it takes to become a new Renaissance man. And today I'm going to show you how to put these traits into practice to make it to the top of the pyramid, even if you're starting from 0. There are 4 stages you need to go through in order to get there, and I'm going to reveal you each stage sequentially. And for each stage, I'm going to show you what's your objective in it, what life looks like, and most importantly, what you have to do to progress to the next stage. So if you ever want to see what the journey looks like from having absolutely nothing to having it all, today I'm going to show you firsthand. So we start our first stage. I call it rock bottom. The good news is, because you're starting from the bottom, there's quite literally only one place to go, and that's up. And the bad news is the more you stay here, the harder it is to leave, and that is because of one little sneaky issue that affects all of us, or at least the people at the bottom of the pyramid, and that's inflation. Right now, inflation is through the roof, and they say it's around 8 to 10.
Definitely right. Inflation is crazy. Right? Food that you used to be able to buy for $5 now is like $10, so it's real.
10% in the UK and US, but that is BS. It is way worse. Because listen, the way the puppet masters calculate inflation is they take a basket of goods and they see how much it costs to buy. Then they compare how much this cost increases year after year. And that's what they call inflation. But this is BS because what they do is they change the goods in the basket every single year in order to manipulate the final number. I mean, really, it's just classic puppet master manipulation. So if you want to know what the real inflation is, simply compare the price you paid for gas a year ago and the price you pay for gas today. And compare the price of how much it costed to rent a 2-bedroom apartment in your city a year ago.
Now, I'll tell you this firsthand. From last year to this year, you're paying at least another $200 per month at minimum to be able to rent the same place. I'm telling you, you're not paying like, and what does it say right here? $201 per night, right? I said in most places across the United States, you're paying at least a $200 extra fee. Like for example, let's say that I lived in an apartment, right? And I'm paying $895 per month, right? To be able to live there. Right now, I'm paying $1,100 to be able to live in that same place. You feel me? So that just goes to show you they're not the same. But let's continue.
How much it costs to rent that same apartment today. And you will see that the number is much, much higher than they claim. Now, what happens when inflation goes through the roof is that the rich simply get richer because they own all the assets and those start to rise. While the poor get poorer because the only thing that they hold, and most of the time it's not even much of it,
is a job.
Is cash. And it is getting debased, it is getting devalued day by day. And the most insidious part of this is now it is harder and harder for poor people to actually acquire assets. Meaning the more time you spend at the bottom, the harder it is to actually break free. And by the way, just wait for things to really hit the fan, which is not very far away by any means. I mean, look, it almost happened twice just last month alone when the pound nearly collapsed and Bank of England had to step in to avoid the worst. So if the economy collapses, the banks fail, which is not out of the question whatsoever, well then things will turn very dark very quickly. So the question is, how do you get out of this? Well, quite frankly, you should have thought about that 2 years ago when the government told you that you cannot eat in a restaurant because you did not get the complying citizen shot. So quite frankly, that was the best time to start. But the second best time to start is right now. It's not ideal by any means, but things are about to get worse. So here's what you need to start doing. You need to start by making your own money. And this is the objective of this first phase, which is make money. I'm not talking about, making money with a career where the government can simply tell you overnight, oh, you're not allowed to go to work. You need to make money by yourself. And in episode 2, I already outlined the best way to do this is by starting a very simple service-based online digital business. And that's just a fancy way for saying sell impactful services to businesses around you. And that, gentlemen, is the easiest and fastest way to start making $2,000, $3,000, or even $5,000 a month without having to slave yourself away working for someone else. Now, how do you do that? Well, it's actually rather simple. First, you need to select the service that you want to deliver, and there's no need to overcomplicate this. If you select email marketing, well, all you gotta do is write a few emails. That's it. You think you can do that? Perfect. Okay, great. So no need to overthink it. People try to make this sound way more complicated than it needs to be, but actually it's quite straightforward. Can you write emails? Cool. Then you can sell email marketing. Can you create Instagram posts? Cool. Well, then you can sell social media management. Can you edit videos? Amazing. Then you can sell content creation. Can you create ads? Perfect. Then you can sell paid advertising. And you can't do any of those? Well, cool. Can you learn how to do them? I mean, let's be honest. If you spend an entire month...
I think the problem is that most people have, though, to be honest, most people can do those things, but they don't have the patience to be able to see it flourish into fruition. That's the problem.
Learning how to write emails. Do you think that by the end of the month you'll be pretty good at it? And not only would you have learned it after a month, but after a month you would have gotten to a point where you are good enough to actually start selling these services to businesses. Now, inside of Agency Navigator, we have a very in-depth phase on how to create ad campaigns that takes around a week to go through if you invest an hour a day into it. And to this day, I've yet to meet someone who watched all of those videos and wasn't able to learn how to create ad campaigns. So all you gotta do is learn one of these services and start offering it to businesses. And it really is that simple. Now, you might be asking, how do you offer it to businesses? Well, let's run through that. You can contact these businesses through email, through DMs, You can call them, you can send them a video, really whatever works best for you. And just remember, every single call or message or email you send here represents you getting one step closer from breaking free of the puppet master's control and is one step closer to the top of the pyramid. And this is exactly what our student Arthur did, by the way. Only 33 days after starting, he signed his first client at $750 a month, plus 8% of the profit his service generates the client. And remember in the last episode, I talked about how accountability is one of the 5 traits of the new Renaissance men? Well, here's some proof. Arthur knew the importance of accountability, and that's why he had Jabali. Now, Jabali, or at our company, we actually just call him Bali, is one of our student success concierges, and he holds him accountable to his goals. And that's the sort of results you get when you receive a game plan, you execute on that game plan, and most importantly, you have someone in your corner to keep you accountable. And that, my friends, is a new Renaissance man in the making. Oh, and by the way, if you were wondering what a fish is, at Great Agency, we have this culture of photoshopping yourself catching a fish whenever you sign a client. And you can see Grayson also caught his first fish 7 weeks after joining the program. It was a small one, but that's already enough to get you to the next stage. And we also have Just, who signed his first client at $2,500 a month and is already looking to scale this client to $5,000 a month in billables. Now notice how he mentions that he actually got on a Q&A call with Luis. Now Luis is one of our coaches at Agency Navigator, and after applying what he was told, he signed his first client. And not only that, but 3 days later, he went on to sign his second client. So he basically went from $0 to $8,500 a month in 3 days, because he took advantage of 2 traits of the top 1% men. First was accountability, and second was the power of knowledge, of learning from people who have already walked the path that he wants to walk. And Just is just another one of our new Renaissance men working his way to the top of the pyramid. And after signing your first client, you'll start making some money, and this takes you into the next stage of the pyramid. I call this second stage of the purgatory, and that's because here's where 90% of the people get stuck indefinitely. And here you're already making money. It could be a little, it could be a lot. So if you have a job, you are most likely at this stage. And if that's the case for you, then let me ask you a question. Have you ever felt like you're selling your soul just to pay the bills? And let's be real, majority of the times you don't even enjoy what you're doing, but it pays the bills. And it feels like it's the only option you have. And for some people, it starts as a temporary gig, but temporary turns into a few months, and then that turns into a few years. And then decades later, you look back thinking, what the hell did I just do in my life? And they always believe their own lie that, oh, in a few months, I'll quit and I'll move on to something else. But few months turns into never. All while trading your most valuable time just so you can make enough money to pay for electricity, your mortgage, your car payment, all that stuff. So you can wake up, have a coffee, drive to work, spend your
and do the same exact thing over and over again.
Your entire day at work, come back, have a place to rest your head, and at the end of it, you have no money left. It is absolute madness. You're essentially working for free because you're giving up your entire life force, and in return, you're not actually even getting anything that benefits your life or that you can actually enjoy or use. And ladies and gentlemen, that is kind of the definition of a slave, someone who works and in return doesn't get paid for their hours. So yes, you technically get paid, but after all the expenses that are needed in order to even just have a job, you have no money left. And you think you're free because technically you have your own money. But as I said, at the end of the month, there's nothing left. So your life has not changed whatsoever. And it does not get more miserable than that. And you might have fleeting thoughts here and there that you want to break free of this cycle. But all roads ahead just lead to the same destination, which is being stuck in modern day slavery. So there's really only one way to break free, and that's make enough money outside of your job that you can quit. So that is really your objective at this stage. So how do you do that? Well, it's the very same way from the previous stage, and that's by starting your own service-based online business. The difference is one client will not be enough for you to actually quit your job. So what you have to do is, after choosing your service on the previous stage, you have to perfect your way of outreaching to clients from there. This way, you'll be able to close clients consistently, meaning you will develop the ability to get paid consistently whenever you need more cash. And in order to do that, I recommend you focus on one outreach method until you perfect it. It can be email, Instagram DMs, Facebook messages, calls, whatever it may be. Where most people get it wrong though is they try to go straight for the kill. What they do is they message people and try to sell them straight away, and that just comes across super disingenuous to.
For sure. You don't sell them on the email or the DM. You sell them when you have a conversation with them. Not even selling them, you close them. You sell them and you close them.
Potential clients, because they can tell, they can smell the desperation from you that you haven't actually done any research about their business. You don't care about helping them. All you care about is making a quick buck. Plus, I'll be honest, selling through emails or DMs is highly ineffective. What you have to do instead is to start a conversation and then offer to help them. And you can offer to help them, for example, by creating an action plan for implementing email marketing strategies in their business or whatever your service may be. I'm just using that as an example. Something that would bring them value so that way they can see that you are actually trying to help. Then, in order to create such action plan, you just invite them to a Zoom meeting. And you can prepare the whole action plan beforehand by taking a look at what they're currently doing and seeing where they can improve. Again, don't overcomplicate things here. If you are offering email marketing services, well then just look at what they're currently doing. Are they sending emails already? If so, how often? And do they have a way to get new people into their email list? And based on that, you create a plan. Then at the end of the meeting, you just ask if they would like your help to actually execute the plan that you've just created. And if they say yes, congratulations, you've just signed your first client. And really the whole key in this process is to get good at sending messages in the first place.
I definitely agree. It helps long term when it comes to people being able to figure out how to help themselves financially. Because a lot of people, unfortunately, are going to stay stuck in the matrix. But you have to make the decision on what you want to do in your life. But hold on, guys. We're gonna see if we can watch one more video. Shout out to Iman Gaji, man. Shout out to him. All right. We'll watch like 5 more minutes of one more video, guys. We're gonna end it off soon. Oh, they're both 47, and this is the. All right, we'll watch a little bit of part one. Next stream, we'll continue it maybe.
This is Piers Morgan Uncensored, and this is the interview the entire world has been talking about. Cristiano Ronaldo, one-on-one.
From London, this is Piers Morgan Uncensored.
Welcome to a special edition of Piers Morgan Uncensored. Cristiano Ronaldo is a football megastar. In my opinion, the greatest player to ever grace the game. He's also one of the most famous people on the planet. He's had the toughest year of his life, on and off the pitch, facing personal tragedy and a barrage of criticism from fans, pundits, even his own coaches. Everyone else has had their say. Now, it's his turn. And Cristiano is most definitely uncensored. Cristiano, let me start just by asking you, why are you doing this interview with me?
Because I think it's the time to say something. And because I like you. As simple as that.
Well, don't say that in public. Well, I like you too, and I appreciate it, because I think that you've had to sustain a lot of criticism this year in particular, probably more than at any stage in your career. And I think it's time to set the record straight and to clear up a few things, not least, I suspect, for the fans of Manchester United. You must be wondering what the hell's been going on.
Oh, as I say many times, the fans, I'm always gonna say good about them. They are the most important things in the football. You play for them. They're always in my.
I definitely get that. I think that the fans are definitely gonna, when it comes to who you play for sure.
Side. I feel that every time when I walk in the streets, the fans coming to me and they appreciate what I do for football. And for me, it's the most important in football. The fans, for me, is everything.
I want to take you back to last summer. You're at Juventus, and there's massive speculation about where you're going to go. And the big rumor is that you're going to go to Manchester City. So first of all, how close was that to happening?
Well, honestly, it was close. It was close. It's something that they spoke a lot. And Guardiola say 2 weeks ago, I guess, that they try They try hard to have me. But as you know, as my history in Manchester United, your heart, your feeling, the history that you did before, make the difference. And of course, as well, Sir Alex Ferguson. So I was surprised in the same way, but it was conscious decision because the heart speaking loud in that moment.
You were a Manchester United legend. So when you say your heart led you, it's because of that, the history you had with the club and the relationship you maintained with Sir Alex, with the fans.
I think it was the key. It was the difference in that moment. But I cannot be loyal if I will say that Manchester City wasn't close. But I think I did conscious decision. I don't regret in some point. And as you mentioned before, Sir Alex Ferguson was the key.
Did you speak to him before you
Yes,
came
I
back?
did. Yes, I did. I spoke with him, and
What did he say to you to try and persuade you?
He said to me that it's impossible for you to come to Manchester City. And I say, okay, boss. So I took the decisions, and I repeat I was with conscience that it was a good decision.
You came back and it couldn't have started better. You played at Old Trafford.
All right, guys, I'm not gonna lie, chat. I'm not gonna lie, guys, woke family. I think I'm done for tonight, man. I'm tired. I appreciate you guys. It was a lit stream. If y'all like this stream, make sure you go spam that like button, leave comments, share this live stream with your friends, subscribe to the channel at Wokebucks, WOKEEBUKS. Tap the notification bell to get all of these videos that I post. Patreon link will be down in the description below. And so will social media links, so make sure you go give those a check. Without further ado, this is going to be in this live stream. This is Wokebucks, and I'm out, man.